I've arranged my poetry in little booklets, and this is called Hip Poems, The Wasted Years, 1967 to 1977. These were years when I spent taking drugs. I was living in South America. I was running from the army. First one's called The Primitive Man. At the edge of the sea he sits, the primitive man, unable to know. From out of the blood-angry past he feels himself falling. He looks at the sky, the sea, the night, the stars. He hears a sinister hiss in the waves. No echoes. The shrill shriek of the wheeling gulls. He cries out, the primitive man. Nowhere is his own voice. Nowhere is his own face. A poet walks by, poems in bits, scraps and strips, flapping fragments of self, amusing self by wooing muse and musing with musical airs. A poet walks through the churning light of autumn leaves, poems shaking free. This next one I'm undedicating to Walt Whitman. It's called Loafing. There he is, the head. See him down by the wharf. The sea sees him. The sea knows him. The waves have watched him roll his strange green herbs in pink and yellow papers as they roll out and they roll in. The sea knows he likes to loaf. The sea laughs and loafs with him, rolling out and rolling in. The sea relaxes and lets the length of its soul roll and roll. This one's called Blue Was the Mad Thing. Blue was a word in a poem, and people, a lonely flute note high on a blue windowsill. Blue was the mad thing wrapped in her grandmother's ribbons. Blue brought down skies, swelled seas, colored seasons. Blue was a girl left sleeping between blue sheets. The Death Train. I remember the Latin guards and the black who wanted to fight, but turned and laughed like the Mexican poet, who flew the conjured chaos to the capital of Sandal's simple nothingness, while Betsy made Dennis and busted in Mazatlan. Lay a little on me, baby. I'm taking the death train. I guess I still have that strange longing for death in these poems. The boots of a vague nowhere. Hungry vagabond, there'll be no rain. I see you in the grass where the pink clouds bend. You wear the boots of a vague nowhere, like a raging fire in the sea's wide eye, as if your funky dances actually made the clouds serve, your soul's reflection singeing the sky. You can see in these poems that I was under the influence of drugs, and it comes out, and I'm only thankful that Jesus set me free from all that. This one's called Round and Round. Solved in sound, one note strummed on a child's guitar, soldiers dying, trucks shifting, babies crying, old bones moaning, water running, balls bouncing, phones ringing, shutters creaking, lovers swooning, bombs exploding, lips parting, heard together make one sound, bounced against the ground unto the sun, who turns us like a child's guitar, simple, round and round. I had a vision of Jesus in 1977, and I burned hundreds of poems. These are some that survived that some friends had, and I'm glad I did burn them. This one's called High in the Andes. A saddle horse bolts brown in sunlight out of a sudden door. A man stroking a drum, piping on a reed pipe, passes with a small ragged crowd. A fat braided woman dances through the crowd, passing a green bottle. A dog named Hotel leaps on the table and tries to devour my breakfast, barks. A woman shouts in Quechua. Children scream, the dog flies. A man in tire sandals captures the horse and leads him back into the municipal building. I was in Israel at this time and wrote this one about David. David danced. The poet danced with golden wings 'neath the lemon-luscious, joyous sky, where the sun loved him by the domed wall, where the nation loved him, glittering, leaping, Son of God, 1,000 trumpets pleasing, easing, teasing him to ecstasy. I wrote one called La Vida De La Rosa, the street that Jesus walked in Jerusalem. The choir startled the ancient stones with Santa Madres more fervent than crusading angels. An old young man in a white robe and dusty sandals joined them in the narrow sun-slashed street. He was scarcely noticed as the old Italians came limping, singing, up the Via De La Rosa. Arab Jewish merchants hawking, children throwing sticks, kicks, bottle caps, slaps. "Look, there's the real actor," someone laughed, as they filed into the dark holy sepulchre, where the young priest's voice broke when he saw the light in the ragged stranger's eyes. I also ended up in India that year, where I was meditating, studying Hinduism and Buddhism. This is called a black caterpillar dancing. In Goa that Christmas, where palm trees walk with crutches, we came seeking the Christ across the beach of naked Magdalens. Could wisdom, love, and power come from a glowing chillum? And found him there, hiding in a group of singing children, like a black caterpillar dancing on the beach, chanting, "Benite adoremus, benite adoremus, benite adoremus Dominum." This one's called "You Play Shadow, and I'll Play Light." She thought her hands were swollen hens, sweet bird of youth, like an angel on the cliffs with a pink message. Or was it an eagle? I found her body thin. You play shadow, and I'll play light. Listen, the wind, clumsy but kind, is moving through the trees like Jack and Jill Rain. A Girl in White. Moonshine and a black drummer sent a girl in white. She knew her goal, through lemon-lime skies. The horseman saw her, silhouetted like a strange Red Riding Hood. The three women rubbing the moon couldn't stop her, nor Jonah in his wail, nor the poet, though he piped her sweet tunes on his flaming flute. I did a painting called The Fingerless Nun. The Fingerless Nun, she sits in the green and yellow fish scales. She meditates, she smiles. Japanese moons circle the wild Jonah, who drives the hungry Leviathan of her violet mind. This one's called Tengo un tambor. I have a drum. Tengo un tambor azul, suave y verde. La gente dicen que no va a durar. ¿Qué me importa? El color es azul, suave y verde. I have a drum, soft, blue, and green. People say it won't last. What do I care? The color is soft, blue, and green. This one's called Possibilities. A gentle laughter wandered with the wind through the wondrous garden, where caterpillars pondered day and night, and the possibility of flight. Bamboo moonlight. Carrying an April pail of moonlight, you stumble in the path, splashing several puddled milky moons. This is the last poem that remains from the Wasted Years. It's called Out of the Dark Womb of the Spiraling Past. In the flower-ragged, keen-eyed, golden world beyond the world within, I was moved by the multitudes chained to the sea, and cast my singing soul to the hungry abyss of stars. Walked wrapped in orange oriental patterns to the river of Nana, the river of light, where illusions burst whilst the mad danced and ruled the earth. Alone and cold I walked, in search of the abode of birth. Met the fertile mother of the wise light, fell wounded in deep flowers by her beauty, ruby, sacred. Met the angel who offered light, under the disguise of fire and smoke, sought to turn my love into his oak. Went spinning through the skies, deceived by songs, hurled me to stones, offered me fame. Love, I spoke, no other name. Comet coming, dancing, chaos, soft as soul, perhaps I am the Messiah. For the clouds were weaving angels, and judges did appear, bearing golden scales, brimming with my deeds. Have you truly loved? We have no other way to judge you, no other way. Violent violet suns whirling, wings flash by my ears. Oh, voluptuous heart cries, soaring, rising, rising, loving our way out of the dark womb of the spiraling past.